Hi, I was looking through the direction I think we'll take now, and I wanted to highlight some parts of Chapter 3 in the Commonplace of Law. I think they may help as you go on with your reading and as the class starts to change or starts to move away from the text reading into more structural statistics and things like that. All right, so on page 34 in the second chapter, and there should be some notes above this, I hope, the introductory thesis is given. It says, the authors are looking to move the study of law and society towards commonplace interpretations in relationships and away from formal law. And then I want to move into a part that's in the next paragraph, 34.3. Because the concept of law invokes assorted social acts, organizations, and persons, encompassing a broad range of values and objectives, it has neither the uniformity, coherence, or autonomy that is often assumed. Now, this is basically the flip of the class. The way that people talk about the law, people in society and the way they talk about the law, is to see it as an entity separate from themselves in a way that can do things. And people can say, well, the law is fair, the law is unfair. Or they can even talk about different legal representatives that should do more, should do less. You know, you'll talk about the police as a group that does something. People talk about systematic injustice in the legal system itself. And the idea is that the laws that we have can determine or cause actions to take place or to not take place. So what the authors are trying to do is the same flip that I've been talking about, which is they want to say, don't look at it as the law determining what people do, but see what insight is to be gained from looking at what people do as what the law is. In effect, in the same way that marriage doesn't make the couple do anything, and marriage does not change people, what people do in marriage can become, well, it is what their marriage is going to be. And as more people begin to do it, this becomes the way marriage is. So, for example, besides teaching, I'm largely a stay-at-home dad. Unheard of a long time ago, more common now, although certainly not the majority case. But as more and more marriages act this way, you find that it's more and more acceptable. This could become an acceptable model of marriage. So the idea is what people do is what creates the larger systemic values. Now, that's not entirely accurate, but neither is it to say that the larger system forces us into action. We're looking at a way to consider both at the same time, and I'm not trying to throw the other side out, because what people have done before you does constrain what you can do in marriage, even what you can think about in marriage. And the force of what everyone has done before you has some effect, and I'm not trying to deny that. But that force that has an effect is still other people's actions somewhere else. At the bottom, what society is actions that we do with each other. That interactional foundation for even larger social structures like the law is part of what I'm trying to get at in this class, and that's what these paragraphs are talking about. Now to go to, in the same paragraph, page 34, still paragraph 3 as it transitions to the next page, we need to open up what we think of as law to include who uses the law and when, and who doesn't use it. We need to think of law, to think not of law as directing social action, but as social action. And again, that's the flip. People talk about how love makes them do things, as though love were the driver of you. I may have talked about this before. I had a friend that wrote a book after studying Narcotics Anonymous meetings, where there was an idea that the addiction would make you say things and the addiction would make you do things. And the addiction was conceived as a separate entity that then drove human behavior. And they're saying, let's get away from that. What you do with the legal system is what the legal system becomes. It's people's actions that make it up in its entirety. It's what the CPS worker does. It's what the parent does with the CPS worker in the house. That becomes the situation, the law, what CPS workers have to deal with and what parents have to deal with. And so we're trying to give some primacy to social action at the beginning. Okay, let me keep going.